Welcome to the Replay Row podcast, a group of friends who geek out on all things sports production. On our first episode, we talked to our friend, our mentor, Emmy award-winning replay operator, Arturo Sanchez. You may know him as Tico, a legend in the broadcast community. Appreciate you listening. It takes all of us. All right, our first official guest on Replay Row. To know this man is to love him. The Costa Rican Los Angeles replay legend. Love this guy. He's the uncle of Replay Row, a guardian of Replay Row, older brother, not a mean bone in his body. You may know him as Tico, Mr. Arturo Sanchez. What's cracking, man?
Let's go.
Tico.
Let's go. Thank you, guys, for having me. It's an honor to be in your show. Thank you, Watts. Thank you for the introduction. It was great. Thank you. I take it for sure. I feel really honored to be in the show. Thank you, guys, for having me.
Dude, we're honored for you to be here. First guest ever, my man. First guest ever. What's cracking? How's your summer been?
Studio. It's awesome.
Dude, how's your summer been going? What have you been up to?
It's been great, busy, have a little tanning, from the sun in California, but all good. Summer has been busy between jobs and everything, but as you know, we just work some of the main events and the sports recently for Fox, so it was been great. It's been fun and great. Dude,
so Tico, one of the nicest people you'll meet in this business, one of the best tape ops, not just in Los Angeles, but in the whole industry. And Tico, just, we feel like you've been so good to us and so kind to us, and you're a mentor. You're one of the people we can lean on in this industry. And I would say my first question would be, what was tape like when you first started compared to now, compared to 2026? So can you just talk about, when you were kind of getting your chops and first starting, what did replay look like and how did you operate? And just, if you could just talk a little bit about that.
Ooh, great question. We have to rewind all the way to 1996. Woo! 1996.
Old man.
I was a little kid in Costa Rica, and by accident, I would say, like, a friend of mine helped me to get into the TV station. I was not working in TV at all, not the technical part. I was selling candies, Coca-Colas, ice cream to the people. We have a little market inside of the TV station in Costa Rica. And then from there, they invited me to work overtime during the weekends and stuff like that, as a pulling cables and stuff like that. Many of us started like that, pulling cables, going to the stadiums, going to the studio and help and stuff like that. And then little by little, I did the transition to go to the master control department, and then start learning tape. And then if you ask me for the difference, it's huge, because now with all the systems that we have for replays and also for playback is way different, like handling tapes. It was hard. You have to be same thing, like focus. You have to be professional. You have to know what are you doing. And then back then it was putting programming on air off of tape. So you were bouncing between programming and commercials. So you do this two things at once. So making sure you're playing the correct segment of the whatever show it was, and then and then following the rundown of the commercials and stuff like that. And then not a playlist, it was everything on tape. And then little by little, doing the transition, especially when I moved to the United States, seeing a different system and stuff like that. But the main part here is how you learn, how they teach you to not make a mistake. So that was the key, that when I was a kid, that actually making a mistake, it was huge. Making a mistake on TV the people maybe at home, they didn't realize that you made a mistake, there was something wrong, or they think like something is wrong on that. But actually behind that is actually a chaos. It's like everybody screaming at you, everybody, and then you go home feeling like you took a big punch in your stomach or your liver, and so like, ooh, and you don't feel good because you made a mistake. So back then, making a mistake, you were like super young, and then you don't want to make a mistake, but that actually give you little by little quality of work, quality, or making you a professional. Makes you better because you don't want to make a mistake ever, like rewinding the tape on errors, because it was easy to just touch and pause the tape or pause the commercial, stuff like that. Or you forgot where you are, and then you play pause or stop.
So do you remember the transition from tape to like the first EVS, like your first EVS job? Were you in Costa Rica, or were you in America for that?
Now that I look back and say, like, rewinding all the way, wow, it was interesting. I started actually doing replays from tape on the TV truck in Costa Rica for soccer. The guy who used to do it, he was almost my same age, and then he was kind of tired of doing it. He didn't want to like doing it. He want to go to more like post-production editor. And then he said like, hey, you should come with me and then learn how to make replays on soccer. And then from there you can make more overtime, blah, 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 blah. And then that's how I started it. And then it was tape. And then one day they brought a new system. And they said like, hey, this machine is expensive. I didn't know where it was coming from. And it's expensive, but you can do replays on this machine. And then they brought one of the first generation of the EVS, the LSM, known as a Elvis also.
What year was that?
It was 1996 or 1997, 98. I was working 1997, 98, already working on my first EVS with no training at all. It was just me and an engineer trying to figure out things. They actually brought the feeds into the machine, and then we were able to see. And I was just racking back, the jog, and then practicing, but we were not making clips, not making playlists by that time. But little by little, like a year after, I was actually cutting highlights from the truck, just basic stuff, but no VGA. Like the guys know what the VGA is just the clip registration that you can see where the clips that you can name and stuff like that. Before that, it was just, you were actually do your own log. You were like logging the place, right, and right next to it, in a small, tiny little truck in Costa Rica. So, but that's same thing. Like when I did it, I remember doing it the first times. You don't have the monitors right in front of you, like here, the luxury. I was kind of looking up, and then I was trusting the cameramans, and then just racking back, and then try to do. But that time it was a simple system. I think it was 2 inputs and 2 outs. I think it was what I remember. So it was great. It was just my first experiences. And then when I told my family by that time, I'm the one doing replays right now from like the games. I was like, really, is you? I was like, yeah. And then I couldn't believe it. But that time there, I was thinking how many people just in Costa Rica, they were watching those games. And then I was like, my job is important. So I have to do it right. I have to, bring my A team and then stuff like that. But it was super fun. And now I look back, and then I kind of I laugh, and then I feel like that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad that I lived those experiences with tape, and then the people actually scream at me or whatever, because they actually made me, like you said, maybe better operator.
So outside of not having the VGA on the first EVSs, on the first Elvises, what would you say is a key or a major difference doing replay from 20 years ago until right now, just across the entire, technical landscape of tape, of replay? What would you say is one of the biggest differences?
Well, it's because but that time it was a different world. It was different, how the engineers that were setting up the machine, they didn't know much about it either. So it's huge. That's why also nobody talk about much about the engineers, but the engineers are our friends. Especially when you walk in the truck, you have to talk to the engineer and then make that guy your friend, because they can help you, especially if something is wrong. And then first thing that I do, I come to the truck and then try to say hello to everybody, but especially meet my engineer. If I see him before, great. If it's a new engineer, talk to him because he can help you. And he's gonna be in your side, and then that could be another topic, and we can talk about engineers for long time and experiences. But definitely is huge. It's just now you have more tools. Now definitely you're more informed, and then as a replay operators, EVS operators, you name it, is you have to be, you have to know the machine and try to, not only do a couple things and then go home and then you're fine. No, get deep into the machine. Now I know that I had but that time I didn't know I had a BGA. I have something. Maybe it's because they did not set it up for me or something. I don't remember. But I tried to do my best anyway. But it's a huge difference. Now you have more tools. Now you take advantage. We have to take advantage of. We have the tools to actually do a good job, a better,
T-bar or jog wheel?
Ooh, T-bar. I like T-bar. Boom. Just T-bar.
T-bar for Tico. All right,
I like the T-bar.
Let's talk a little World Cup, yeah?
Let's do it.
I was so me and Tico were Summer of Soccer at Fox. We got to work on the studio show, and it was awesome. And we had a blast. It was awesome crew to work with. Just a great tape room to be in, and it was fun with Thierry and Zlatan and Rebecca Lowe.
Yes.
It was just it was a fun show to be a part of. So Tico, take us through sort of the differences between doing EVS, doing replay for a game, or in this case, we were doing it for the studio. So it was more, I guess, editing and less instant replays. Can you kind of explain how that works?
Well, yeah, definitely is a big difference between being in the truck doing replays. But the same thing, you have to bring your A team all the time. You have to be precise and also focus in what you do. Where you're doing the replays and for games, MLS or for women's soccer or any games like friendlies or international soccer, you always have to be watching the game, how it goes, the story, when stuff like that, depending on your position and your responsibility on the game. But being in the studio, you got the same thing. You have to know each position, who is doing what, who is doing this, and then but it's nice. It's both are great. Working doing replays for soccer is great, but also on the studio, editing is it give you more not a freedom, but you can be more I would say creative in the way you can edit. Always we have a tape producer right next to us, so he can give us maybe he can tell us what to do, but also we bring our own touch, our style.
Right.
And then, but it's awesome. Both working on both is nice. But working with that crew, Fox that you mentioned, it was a great. We learned from all the guys. The guys they brought guys from another states, actually super elite EVS operators.
Yeah, we were lucky to be there.
We were lucky to be there.
I mean, honestly, I learned a lot from the other guys that they brought in. They travel in a lot of really good EVS ops from all over the country. So it's fun to get to work with those guys and like see how they work.
Yes, no, definitely. Their experience, their temple, I don't know how can I say it, but their personalities, I would say. Their personalities.
Yeah, their temperament, I guess. Their temperament when they're working. Yeah.
They're awesome. And then same thing, they bring the A team, you see them working, and it's like, those guys are good. So and it's something like you mentioned, Tico, the legend, Tico, the replay, ankle, whatever. It's good. But actually, I always feel that I'm always learning from those guys. You know,
Same.
People. We were lucky to have we all know Sefer Turk, Sefer right next to me,
a real legend, proper legend.
So my first day, I have to release Sefer from highlights. So do the first highlight of one of the matches. You know, one of my first days, and then sitting in his chair, just that.
Pressure.
That's pressure. That's pressure. And he didn't leave the room. He was kind of hanging out,
looking over your shoulder.
Kind of like, yeah,
you feel him
because
over
he
here.
is like that. He's great. He want to make sure that I'm fine, that I have everything correctly before he step out and take a break. And then that it's a little bit of pressure because those guys, you know, they're like top guys. And then, but we were really lucky. And then also is actually something special for us that we were there because actually we're like little by little always growing. And that's the key about this job, getting better and growing.
So you mentioned it earlier. So basically in the tape room for the World Cup, we had 5 EVS operators, and next to each operator, you have like a tape producer sitting next to you. And then we also had 2 editors in the back, just on editing on Premiere to kind of like help out where we needed help. But so let's go through the stations. So like, you go through. So like Red Blue was mostly like playbacks. Then another position
Scenics.
Was like you said, the highlights.
Yeah, which is I think between highlights and the third position, which it was B-rolls and bumps. I think those two that were more like challenging like positions that you feel really like. Okay, in all of them you have to be precise, as I said. Like, but the editing part, like editing the highlights, the tape producer, you just listen while you're working, because there is no time to ask him what again. What do you need? What shot do you want? No, it's just do this, boom, 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 put this shot, give me a celebration, give me slow-mo.
Like one replay, one celebration. Like that.
That's it. That's enough for that goal. The goalie was great, but not super amazing. And then from there, like working with the tape producer it was key to me because you got help from the guy because he also watching another stuff while you're working. He is actually watching another stuff, and then he can tell you, hey, let's bring that shot. I just saw something cool, and then you put it in the highlights and stuff like that.
They're kind of like your eyes and your brain because they also they know soccer. Yeah. Like all those tape producers.
It's like a Batman and Robin or Robin and Batman.
Yeah, right.
You call it, you know, and then some of them we probably, you know, we know them because we have worked on other tournaments with them. And then one of the guys I work with all the time is Mike Davies, Mikey. Everybody knows Mikey. He knows me, and then I know him. I know he's gonna, you know, push me to my limits. He's like, no, Tico, you can do it. Do this, do that. And so like, okay, I'll do it, Mikey.
I need a Mbappe B-roll. I need a bump of the goal.
And then make it a slow motion, and then, you know, put a little bit of speed, and then slow it down. Hey, he gave me like some good tips, like because it said they also have the vision. Same thing. Tape producers. Nobody talk about tape producers, but actually some of them, like they actually help you to while you're actually looking for stuff, or you're grabbing another like videos or another shot from across the network, and then say like, no, let's do this, boom, 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 bam, 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 because they're also watching. They're not actually into machine like editing. They're watching this, so they can help you definitely. But it's great, and you feel kind of like you feel like you have like you're Robin right next to you. Right. So see,
you're a team.
We're a team.
And so, okay, so we have the playback. You have the guy editing the highlight, which is what everybody sees. And, it's Zlatan and Thierry. They talk about it with the minute interstitials. The B-rolls and bumps is the next position, which you talked about. And then the last two positions is like, one of them is focused on sound, a lot of sound. So it's like post-game sound as the interviews come in with the players, post-game pressers. So they're kind of like turning around that stuff. And then
and it was Eagle Rocky.
Eagle Rocky was the last position. And they were also helping build bumps, aerial shots,
the drone
fan shots, a lot of fan stuff. So overall, like, this group has been sort of doing it together for a long time now. So they have a really good system. But I think people don't realize like how much of the show is like comes off tape instead of it like, as a viewer, you might watch and you're like, oh, like that warm-up shot looks live, but it's not actually live. Like, we clipped it off 5 minutes ago, and now we're at the point in the show where we want to show, Holland warm up.
Definitely.
So then it's like, okay, cue it up, Tico, play it out. So everything is scripted, and like a lot of the video you see is not live. It's coming from tape.
Yeah, no, definitely. In the production, actually, the producers at Fox, the way they lay down or they do the show is actually totally makes sense. It's nice. We show the key parts of, like, coming off the buses, the main players, maybe coaches, and then of course, a little bit of the locker room where they're like, all the games are important in the World Cup. So, but all those stuff, and then how they put everything together, and then as you said, and it's nice to see everything, and then also be part of those playbacks, because as I said, a lot of people is watching, but when you're sitting in that chair, you're not thinking about like million of people, like millions are watching some of the games, like thousands of people, and then it comes from your system, and then it's part of your work. But at the same time, you don't think about that. If not, you're gonna be like different. But now it's great to be part of it, but with experience, you don't think about like how many people are watching. But you go, the people are watching. Hopefully they enjoy the broadcast, because it was a good broadcast from Fox.
So echoing off that, Fox did a great job doing the World Cup. They've had the rights to the last 3-4 World Cups, and now the contract for the World Cup has expired. And there's talk, where's FIFA going to go? Are they going to stick with Fox? Are they going to go back to ESPN, ABC? And as a viewer, right, there was over 100 matches in 3 different countries in several different cities. You guys were in the thick of it, working almost every match. What was your favorite technical aspect, or your something that Fox did technically wise that kind of blew you away, where you're like, man, they're pulling out all the stops, they're going all out, unlimited budget? What was your guys, Logan, you can go first, and then Tico, what was your favorite technical aspect that Fox did for this World Cup?
A lot of stuff, but I think the thing that stood out to me was just like the amount of talent and like different sets that they had at each location, and like some of the travel schedules of like the talent just was like insane. Like you're in LA one day doing a match, and then you wake up the next morning and like, John Strong, Stu Holden, they're in like New York the next morning, like on air.
Yes, on air.
So I just thought like, just like when you think about the scope of it, 3 countries, and like, how big those countries are, and the travel, and then like the logistics of getting place to place, having multiple desks at each place, like all the talent that traveled. Carly Lloyd traveled while she's pregnant. Like, shout out Carly. Yeah. I just thought that was like the scope of just all the reporters and people that had to move around, and the logistics was just insane.
Yeah. Well, to me, just overall, how they set up like 2 rooms, because we were like practically like two teams, like the first wave of like production, and then tape operators or EVS operators, and then the late crew coming in, and then just the transition, it was seamless because they have two big rooms like ready to go. And then the part that really impressed me, it was the amount of record time, like how many hours, the storage that they have to have. And then, like you said, they went like with the budget. They said like, no, we have to, nothing can be wrong with this. So we cannot be like out of space recording all the feeds, and especially the feeds that come from FIFA, and then the feeds that actually Fox already have, like different cameras and stuff like that. So really, it was a huge amount of like hours and space of records on the EVS, on the servers, and for the editors and stuff like that. Material that actually we're gonna need after. So we cannot like do a day of the World Cup and erase everything. No, they have to save some clips, and then the games and important stuff. So the amount of like space and stuff like that they needed, that part, it was important, and I think it's the technical part that really impressed me.
So again, over 100 matches. You guys are just grinding the summer of soccer, and there was plenty of memorable matches in this World Cup. There was a couple more teams. The field was bigger, right? We had Cape Verde, great story. They had a draw against Spain. Messi's last World Cup. I think he had goals in 5-6 straight matches. USA in the group stage, couple good matches. What was your favorite or your most memorable match for this World Cup?
Well, it was definitely the story of the first match of Cape Verde that they tie. There was Spain or France.
I think it was Spain.
Spain,
right?
yeah, I think
Spain.
it was
They tie Spain
0-0.
0-0. From there,
Yeah.
I said like, because on the World Cup, unfortunately, the team where I'm from, Costa Rica, they were not on the World Cup. So you kind of like have to pick a team. Now, okay, all right. First, I live in the States, so my first team will be United States, or support CONCACAF teams like United States, Canada. It was Mexico, and then and the rest of them, Haiti, Curacao, and then it was Panama, right? 6 of them. But beside that, for sure, Cape Verde. That game, it was early stage on the tournament, but that game for me, it was nice. It was important, and then that actually they got my attention, because on the World Cup, when my team is not in, I support the underdogs for sure. So Egypt, I really like Egypt games too. I really liked, and then Cape Verde for sure. I think that tie, that 0-0 game, it was one of them. It was, as I said, early stage on the tournament, but really is one of the that I really remember very well.
Shout out our guy Sam over at NFL Network at SoFi for Cape Verde. Sam,
Yes.
We got your back. Let's go Cape Verde.
Yes.
I think my most memorable as a U.S. soccer fan, I think it was probably the opening game at SoFi for the U.S. I don't think I was expecting the home support to be that good. Mm-hmm. And it was like when that national anthem was playing for the first game, and like everyone was singing. I mean, really every national anthem for the U.S., but just some of those U.S. soccer environments.
You get chills, right?
I do. It was awesome. So even though like we kind of crashed out early, the support, the fans, it was just something that I wasn't expecting, and it kind of like hit me like, wow, like this is like a true home field. Like you don't get that a lot in the U.S. Usually it's like, the opposing fans. There's a lot of opposing fans in the stadium or whatnot, but it was like, full USA, everybody singing together. So I thought like that, I'll remember that forever. And I thought Fox did a good job of just covering.
Oh yes, the coverage
all those
was
US,
awesome. Mm-hmm.
like as you know, those US games are like the Super Bowl days at Fox, because those are the biggest viewing days. So everyone's a little bit on edge. You get the longer pregame shows. You get just more elements to it. So I thought, Fox did a good job of all that coverage, all the teases, the features, all the edited pieces.
Beautiful. Actually, those days feels different when United States was playing because, we put in Fox put a little more like production into it, and then it was nice, especially because we are, in the United States, and then trying to get more people who love soccer to get into the game, and then definitely the game of soccer have grown United States, and then it's as I said, that one that you bring in actually.
It was cool.
Taking me back to those days. I said, that's awesome, and I miss it. And unfortunately, here we are. It went fast. It went quick.
All right, Tico. Well, as we wrap it up, just want to say thank you. We love you. You couldn't be a better friend, a better mentor, a better operator. One of the LA legends. I guess for our last question, for the young cats, the young bucks coming up, do you have any advice or any words of wisdom you want to share to kind of the up and coming operators?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, again, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here for sure, especially the first guest on the studio. Oh my God, it's really, really nice. I feel like really like nice. I don't know. It feels good. It feels good. You guys offer me coffee, water, cookies. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's all off camera, by the way. Yeah, we have good crafty over here at Replay Row.
Yes, no, definitely. Thank you. Great question. Yeah, thank you for having me, and then sharing briefly some of my experience. The experiences that I have there are many over the years, but I would say. Something that I learned, like as I said, when I was a young kid or whatever, a teenager, it was just, be professional. Be professional all the time. Try to be professional all the time. And then I would say I learned this from another two guys too. Like one of them, Sefer, and then the other guy, Byron Acosta. You
shout out
by Byron. Yes, exactly. Don't if you're one of the things that's going to make you successful is always sharing. Don't worry about like somebody's going to take your job, somebody is going to, if you see a new person coming in learning, make them feel welcome. And then because here is not about like job security, it's just helping each other, making new friends. And then we all understand some of our like positions are freelance, so we all bounce in different like places and work in different places, environments and studios. But if you're working, if you see a new person, don't feel like you're being attacked, somebody's take your job. No, just make them feel welcome. You're already successful, you're already on a position that actually you can help somebody like to grow. And then but mainly just be nice, be professional. Another tip, like make friends with your engineers, and then from there, I think everything is gonna go well. But over the years, that's what I think I learned like very well, that just be focused, be professional at work. And then that really helps me and it opened a lot of doors for me over the years. For sure.
Thank you, Tico.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Let's go, Replay Road.